about to get very, very nerdy with the NEWTs. So I thought that this time around I would try and vlog my NEWTs experience. I tried like the very first owls and it didn't really work so well. I kept forgetting to do things, so I'm hoping that this time it'll actually happen. So today is kind of a busy day, and I hadn't had this planned until like last night, but as you guys know, I just got married and I'm like quit my job so that I could like move, and it was a whole thing. So I'm currently in the job application process, and I have a second round interview that's going to last all day today. So that's going to take up a good chunk of the day, but it is a long way away, so I've got a good chunk of time there and back that I can listen to an audiobook in the car, which is what I'm going to be doing. And if I do end up getting this job, that'll help a lot because that gives me a lot of travel time that I can use to audiobook. So I thought I'd go through all the books that I'm planning on starting the readathon with. So the audiobook that I'm planning on reading is Birthday by Meredith Russo. It's not super long, so I'm thinking that this will take me just a few days. And with that said, I have a other couple that I'm going to be like physically reading when I feel like it. So the next one is going to be Bad Girls Throughout History by Ann Shin. Now this one is like super easy to get through and it's not like super difficult, so this is probably going to be one that I'm going to be going in and out of for a little bit. And then I thought I'd also pick up a book that is a physical book, but it's also a not like a really short book, so I thought that I would do The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James, and it doesn't look super like difficult and the chapters are super short, so I'm hoping this will be fun, and I can't wait to get started on my reading. I haven't updated anything in a long time. I didn't do exactly what my plan was so I was way too nervous on the way to my interview to even like listen to anything, and then on the way back it didn't like go as well as I wanted it to. I was too all over the place to even pay attention to what was happening, so I didn't listen to any of the audiobook on the first day, and yesterday I did a little bit. So I have listened to Birthday like here and there, and I'm about 60 pages into it. I'm finding the structure of it really, really interesting because it's only taking place on the birthdays, so I'm liking it. Probably, if I had to guess right now, I would say that I still like If She Was Your Girl more, but like I said, I'm only 60 pages into it, so like not too far, and I can't really tell yet. And then I've also been reading Bad Girls Throughout History, and I want to say I'm about 60 pages into this one as well. Just kind of cool to like read through, and you can like pick this up whenever you want and just read about a few women and then move on with your life. So I find that really, really interesting. And then I had to run some errands the other day, and my husband went with me, so he suggested that I start listening to the audiobook of Peter and the Starcatchers because he was in the car with me, and he's the reason that I'm reading this book, because it's for the challenge of reading a book that someone suggests for you. So I did that, and then today we went to our friend's like celebration of their wedding, and it's like 2.5 hours away, so like I'm almost done with this book, and I really am enjoying it. It's really cool because the guy who is doing the audiobook is Jim Dale, who is the same one who does the Harry Potter audiobook. It's just really, really cool to like listen to the story with someone who loves this book. And like Chris does an audiobook, he just doesn't he can't really focus that way, but he knows the story, so it's really fun to like listen to it and then have him, sometimes reading along in the car and like giving his input and laugh, like seeing him laugh at some of the stuff, because the writing's really funny. It reminds me a lot of a middle grade version of the Janey series, Lady Jane, My Plain Jane, those kinds of books. The writing kind of reminds me of that, but it also reminds me of Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow too. So I am intrigued, and I'm really, really liking this like fresh take on Peter Pan. So I am definitely enjoying this book. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a 4-star by the time I'm done with it. And also, like, this is it without the cover on. Can we just talk about how pretty it is? So pretty. I have been probably going to finish this within the next couple days. I'm hoping to get more of the birthday done and more of Bad Girls Throughout History done tomorrow. Hello, another really late update, but whatever. It's just been a chill day today. We haven't really been doing much. We watched some Downton Abbey earlier because we're trying to... Chris hasn't seen all 6 seasons, and I have, and the movie's coming out in a couple months, so we're rewatching it / watching it so that we can be reminded or know what's going on. So we've been doing that. I've been applying for jobs, just some boring stuff, but I need to get some things done like laundry, and there's a whole bunch of like stuff in our living room that we got for the wedding that doesn't really have a place because our apartment's kind of tiny, so I need to go do that. So I'm hoping that I can maybe listen to some audiobook. I might finish Peter and the Starcatchers. I'm pretty close to the end and I kind of want to know what's going on, but I did get a good chunk of Bad Girls Throughout History read last night right before I went to sleep. I'm on 118, I think it was on page 50 or 60 last time I updated you. It's really, really interesting. There's not really a whole lot I can say about this because it's just like you're learning little itty bitty things about people, but I will say the art is amazing. Yeah, I've been trying to get through this one, so I got a good chunk of it done last night, so that was good. I feel like it's the 3rd day and I haven't finished anything yet, but I'm making headways in a lot of stuff. I think I'm going to just go maybe read some more of this, maybe audiobook while I do some laundry and stuff, and very interesting life that I live. Updates for you guys. I finished Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson last night. So cute. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's really, really interesting, and I liked the new take on the Peter Pan because it answers a lot of questions as to how Peter Pan is the way he is, how Hook lost his hand, how, you know, what Neverland is, the Indians on the Neverland Island, the Lost Boys, how Tinkerbell becomes a thing. Like, there's all of these little things that gets explained. However, there are definitely some things in this book that I don't know why this would be considered a middle grade and not like a YA, because there are some pretty hard topics. It's piracy, so lots of people, you know, are like fighting and dying and stuff, but there's even like a couple things in here about like sex. So like at the very, very beginning, they have this entire scene where a governess is hanging out with one of the people on the ships as Peter Pan is like sneaking around and like passes their room, and he talks about hearing a lot of giggling and like thumping and stuff. Like, that's a pretty adult topic. So there's like little tidbits like that throughout this book that you're like, oh, alright. Minus the subject matter a little bit, it definitely reads like a middle grade. It's more fun and more simple in its writing, but it was very cute. I very much enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to pick up the second one. Just recently, I finished Birthday by Meredith Russo. I listened to the audiobook of this on Audible, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. It was such a great story. It's very different from If I Was Your Girl, in that, yes, they're both about people in the trans community, and yes, they're both about kind of a love story in a sense, but this is very, very different because this one focuses more on the transitioning part, and the other one focuses more on, you know, how people react once you have transitioned. And there's a lot of like harder topics. Like the other one, don't get me wrong, there's hard topics in both books, but there's a lot more in this one. There's a lot more talk about mental health in this one. There's a lot of talk about, you know, puberty and how this is kind of traumatic to people who don't feel right in the body that they were born in. And so that's really, really, I find really interesting. And also thing that I found really awesome was the person who was narrating this is also trans, and so you get all kinds of representation throughout it. Plus there was a Q&A with the narrator and Meredith Russo on the audiobook that I was listening to, so it's really interesting to listen to her talk about the important things in this book and why she wrote certain people a certain way and that kind of thing. Like I said, I think it hits harder than her other one, but they both hit pretty hard, but I think this one hits a little bit harder. So definitely like trigger warnings for abuse and suicide, and I think that's really about it. But yes, very good. Another one that I think a lot of people should read. It's something that I think, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but one thing that I liked about this book is the structure of it. It follows these two people over a span of like 7 years. It starts when they're 13 and ends when they're 18. So I found that really, really interesting to show how like this is such a long change, and it's really about, you know, Morgan and what she is feeling and how she needs this time to kind of figure out who she is. So I, like I said, absolutely adored it. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so glad I read this. That is 2 books done for the Readathon, and I still have Bad Girls Without the History, but I've only got about 60 pages of this left, so I think I'm going to go sit down and try to finish this one, and then I think I'm going to pick up Two Dark Reigns as my next audiobook. This would fulfill my E in Transfiguration, which is to read a book that's not the first in a series, and this is the 3rd. So I'm really excited to get around to this one. I just reread what it was about, and it makes me really, really excited, and I cannot wait to get it started. So it's what, the 5th day of the Readathon, and I've already finished 2 books, probably close to finishing number 3, so I feel very accomplished. It's a good day. I found it really interesting. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to look up the women that like are in the book just to see like a real life picture of them. Sometimes you can tell which like picture on Google or in which popular picture she used to like illustrate. There are some that are in the exact same like position and like where she's sitting and stuff like that. So I find that really, really interesting. And I have just finished Bad Girls Throughout History. This was so much fun to just dive into. I gave it 4 stars. The pictures were amazing, and I liked the variety of women. Her definition of bad is different. I want to read you something that she wrote in the introduction. When she first started this project 5 years ago, someone remarked that the title of the book didn't make sense, that none of these women were bad. The axe murderers were bad, not Harriet Tubman. Yet she escaped slavery and snuck into the South 19 times to illegally free slaves. To be a bad girl is to break any socially acceptable rule. For some women, it's the way they dress. For other girls, it's the act of going to school. So I found that really, really interesting because it is a huge, wide range of people, from more mythology-ish, creation story type things with Lilith, way up into super, super modern, Oprah and Coretta Scott King. So I found that really, really interesting, and the specific people that she chose for this, especially in the middle, it was a lot of women who were pushing the norms of what a woman's role was, the right to vote, the right to, even choose what you want to do with your own body when it comes to sex and stuff like that. One more thing that I want to say about this one is that, yes, a very big chunk of this were women in the United States, but she did have women all over the world included in this book. I liked that there was that kind of, in a sense, kind of variety. So very glad that I read this, and my third book for Newts is done. Whoop whoop. So with that being done, I have listened to Two Dark Reigns a little bit. I've just like completed 2 chapters, like the very first 2. But like the first one grabbed me within seconds, and it's set 400 years before this one, because there's like a whole kind of like mythology aspect of this that is a big player in the third book. So I am very excited about this, and I'm already like, what, I might be 20 pages into it, and I'm already like back in the world and ready to go. I'm enjoying this, and I've only listened to like 20 minutes of it or something. But I'm thinking about, it's getting later, but I'm not tired yet, and I'm thinking about maybe starting the illustrated version of Harry Potter tonight, because I want to listen and read along. And I've been noticing the last few nights, Chris goes to bed much earlier than I do. I've been noticing that I've been going in there, and while he's asleep, I've been reading, but like listening to music, because I really like listening to classical piano and other instrumental music while I'm reading. So I think I'm going to try to pick this one up and listen to the audiobook, because I know that I really wanted to physically read this one, but also listen to the audiobook at the same time, mostly because I haven't listened to any of the audiobooks of Harry Potter yet. So that is my plan for the rest of the night. Hello! So it is the next day, Tuesday, day 6 of the Readathon, and I'm just about to record a video to go out in a couple days. Before I do, I thought I would update you on my reading. I have been listening / reading along to Two Dark Reigns. The book is in the other room, and I didn't feel like getting it. This one, I listened to a little bit of it when I was like last night when I was doing some things and like doing the dishes, and then I listened to it a little bit this morning when I was putting makeup on, and then the next thing I knew, it was an hour later and I had read like 100 pages. So I am invested already, and it's only like been this much of the book, so I'm really excited about where this is going. I'm very excited that I finally decided to pick it up. I have forgotten a lot of stuff about the second one. She's doing a really good job of like saying certain things that are reminding me of some of the stuff that has happened at the end of the second one. So I'm enjoying this one a whole lot. There's like a whole like mystery element to it right now, and I am very intrigued. So I'm really enjoying this one. Yeah, thought that I would update you before I do my recording, but I'm gonna record a video to, like I said, go out in a couple days. I mean, it'll be out before you guys see this. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen after that. We'll see. Hello! So I have recorded the video I talked about, and I grabbed some lunch, and I think I'm gonna sit down and edit some of this video, hopefully most of it, to get it out and ready so that I can not worry about that for the next couple days. But I thought that I would also update you on Two Dark Reigns. I've been listening / reading along for a while, and I'm at about 150 pages into it, and I'm just like devouring this one. I don't know why this one is just grabbing my attention so much, but for some reason this book is like not letting me go. So I'm really intrigued, and I'm really enjoying my time reading it, and I can't wait to see what is next in this story. But yeah, I think I'm gonna edit some video. It's quite a long, like, it's really like the raw video is ridiculously long. I don't know if you can see, but the raw video is 47 minutes long. That's a long time. So that's a lot of raw video to get down to hopefully a like 20-minute video-ish. It's usually about half of what my raw footage is, roughly, depending on these, like what it's about. There's a lot here, but I remember taking a lot of breaks, and I think my camera fell at one point. That is my plan for right now. Need to share something with you. So I'm still editing hours later, and I paused at the right time. That is my face. I don't know what I'm doing, but I paused it at the right time. What is this?
So it's just, I have not seen this perspective, and it feels like I'm reading about an entirely different war that I've never heard of before, because I'm really seeing an entirely different scenario.
Hello! So it is quite a lot later. But today there was an Atlanta United soccer game on, and Chris really wanted to watch that. And I don't mind watching Atlanta United, but I decided to read while we were doing that. So I picked up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone Illustrated Edition and listened to the audiobook as well. I'm 80 pages in it, and Harry's on the train. He has met Ron, and it's so much fun to reread this book. It's a lot funnier than I remember. Like, even just like the little itty bitty like side notes that she gives on some of the characters is so funny. Another thing that I find really interesting is that I'm listening to the Jim Dale audiobook of this, so he's changing some of the words that are in this book to be a more modern Americanized version of it. One of the first things that I noticed was in the first chapter, Dumbledore doesn't call sherbet lemon. I mean, he does in the book, but in the audiobook it says lemon drop instead, and there's things like there's dustbins in here, and the audiobook says trash cans, and it's like little itty bitty things like that, but there's a lot of them. It threw me off at first, but now I've gotten used to it. I am fine with it, but I'm loving this. I'm loving getting back in this world. I'm loving all of the like little bitty funny parts that are in this that I like totally forgot. There's one line that I had to even share with Chris because it was so funny, and it's one that we both agree should have definitely been in the movies. It's when Hagrid is visiting them, like when he introduces himself to Harry for the first time, and he like uses his umbrella to give Dudley a tail, and he says, "Shouldn't have lost my temper, but it didn't work anyway. Meant to turn him into a pig, but I suppose he was so much like a pig anyway, there wasn't much left to do." Oh my gosh, I love that so much. But I'm enjoying this so much, and I'm trying to upload the video that's going to be coming out on Thursday, and I think what I'm going to do is, while this is uploading, I think it's got like 40 minutes left or something, I'm going to continue listening to Harry Potter before I go to bed. Beautiful people, it is the 7th day of the Readathon, and I have a second round of a job interview today, so I'm getting ready. But while I was getting ready, I thought that I would come on and talk to you guys. I thought I'd just come on and say hey, update you on what's going on in my life a little bit. I've been reading really well. I'm like having a really good readathon, so that's like really exciting. I am currently reading The Two Dark Reigns and the first Harry Potter. Having so much fun reading both of them that I don't want to like switch. So it's like, it's funny to me that I'm having all of this fun reading them, and then like when I'm like, oh no, I'm so excited about reading this book, I don't want to switch to the other one, and then when I do, I'm like, oh shoot, why did I do this the first time? So I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying getting back to reading. I really missed it in June when I was wedding planning. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was never one of those girls who like was crazy stressed when it came to wedding planning. I mean, I was stressed. There's not really a way that you can't be stressed when you're wedding planning, but I was never one of those people who hated it. It was fun. I had fun. It was a lot, but I had a great time doing it, so I'm not upset about that. But I did miss reading, especially because I didn't read too much, but I'm really glad that now I can get back, because these readathons are always just make me want to read and like make me love reading again. Never that I'm like, I've had a few slumps, but I've never had like really bad slumps. I always say that I'm a mood reader, which I think I am, but when it comes to like structure, like readathons, I really enjoy them. So maybe I'm not as much of a mood reader as I think I am. I am having all the fun, and I hope you guys are having a good readathon too. I'm so amazed at G for having they created this amazing thing out of just like nowhere. She's so incredibly creative, and I don't understand how she does it, but she's great. I love her. She's definitely one of my favorite. She's one of the like ones that I watched way before I even started my own BookTube channel, and she's definitely one of those that I was like, this looks like so much fun, I want to be a part of it. You know, now that I've like started this, I don't really know what to say. Alright, after about 10 million years, I finally got my eyeliner. Whoop whoop. Oh, and I also have these fun Harry Potter brushes. I don't know if you can see them, they're like the wands and stuff that Chris got me for Christmas this last year. A little bit of Harry Potter. There you go. Just gonna quickly go through the rest of this and meet you on the other side. Well, let's listen to an audiobook, because why not? late update. I've been spending the last like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, maybe not quite that much, starting to edit this vlog. So I wanted to get some of that out of the way before it got too late, because I'm hoping to get this up in the next couple days or so, or after the next couple days. But I had a second part kind of to an interview today. It was really like, I had an interview earlier in the week, and then this was the same company but for a different position. So we'll know by tomorrow if I get it or not, because the lady said she'd call me tomorrow by like mid-afternoon-ish, whether or not I'd get it, which is nice, because even if I don't get it, they let you know. But I've been like listening to Two Dark Reigns to the interview and back from the interview, and like all kinds of all over the place today, and I am on page 319, so like super close to the end, and I am devouring the crap out of this. Now there is a lot from the second book that I know that I'm not remembering. It's not hindering the plot, and it's not like making me confused in any of the parts. It's just like little things that I'm like, right. So I think such a big gap, especially between 2 and 3, was a little bit problematic, but I'm like I said, devouring this book. Like, this will probably be done in the next couple days or so. That's really the biggest update, is I just got a good chunk of this one done, and I did get a lot of editing done on the vlog. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it tonight, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow later today. So it is another day, it's another late update, but I haven't really been doing much today. I've done a lot of editing for this vlog, or at least trying to get that done. But I haven't really done much. I did, as you saw, I read a chapter of Harry Potter while I was having lunch, and I've read a couple chapters of Two Dark Reigns. I don't have very much left in that, so I'm trying to get that one done relatively soon. But that's really where I'm at today. I'm hoping to get a little bit more edited, because I'm all the way up to, let's see, today's the 8th, so I'm currently on the 6th, I think, so I'm only a couple days behind, but there's a lot of footage that I need to go through, so I'm hoping to get more of that edited, and then really hoping to finish Two Dark Reigns today or tomorrow. that would be fantastic. I'm really trying to distract myself because I'm supposed to be getting a call today on whether or not I got a job, and like I'm stressing about it, and there's no reason for me to stress about it because at this point I can't like do anything. I'm just stressing for no reason and it makes me nervous. So I'm trying to distract myself with like literally anything I can do, and I can't really focus on reading right now, so I've been like watching YouTube and editing a lot. So that's what's happening today. Yeah, but I'm gonna edit some more now. Yet another update for you in Kelsey's life in the last hour and a half. Sure, I have gotten a job and I've also finished a book, so I'm doing great. I was able to finish 2 Dark Reigns by Kendara Blake, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I just loved every second of this. I think this is my favorite out of the 3 so far, and I can't wait for the 4th one to come out. I don't think I'm gonna wait too long between now and reading the 4th one, just because like she's really good at leaving it on cliffhangers and like making you question everything. So there's a lot that happens at the end of this that I have questions about, and we won't get to know until the next book, and I want it right now. So that is 2 done for my Transfiguration. I only have 1 more left in this class, and I'm so happy that I finished this. There's a lot of kind of not gory parts, but it is bloody, which is not my favorite thing in the entire world, so I definitely cringe a lot during this. But I didn't cringe, I don't think, as much as I think the first and the first one really, because there is some stuff in there, but it doesn't really happen until about the end. I didn't cringe too much, but just like be aware if you're going to read this series. I don't want to say too much because it is the 3rd in a series and I don't want to spoil the first 2, but there's a lot of action and a lot of things that are happening, and like the mystery part that I was talking about when I first started reading it, you solve it in a sense. Like you know what needs to happen, but what needs to happen hasn't happened yet. So I can't wait to start the 4th one, but I'm so happy that I finished this one. It was so good, and I haven't been like this into a book in a very long time. Like I couldn't put it down. But with that being said, I need a new audiobook, so I think what I'm going to pick up next is Circe by Madeline Miller. This is for my Defense Against the Dark Arts, and it's for A, which is to read a book with a black under the dust jacket, and it's the only one that I have to read for that class. I don't have to get anything else, just an A. So I'm going to do this one so that I have at least 1 class done. So this is what I'm going to be reading next on audiobook, and I can start that hopefully tomorrow. And now that I have a job that's a little far away, I will be reading this, listening to this a lot. So I think that's going to help, considering that most of the books that I have in my NEWTs are audiobooks, or at least I can find an audiobook version of them so that I can listen to them during the week when I'm going to and from work. So that'll be great, but that is my update for you. So many exciting things are happening in the world. It is another day, and I haven't really been doing much, some like around the house apartment things, but I did end up reading a couple chapters of Harry Potter last night, but I didn't realize it took such a long time for Hermione to be like part of the trio. Like, I'm 60% of the way done with the book, and she's now part of like the friend group. It feels long, and I didn't like her not being friends with them. So when they finally became friends, I was like, this is okay, we're good. But yeah, I got a couple more chapters done. I am like 150 pages in now, 150 pages in. So I'm going to get to reading some more. There's not a whole lot left. Like, I feel like we're more than halfway done, and they just got rid of the troll, and they just met Fluffy. So I feel like there's a lot to go in the next like 40% of this book. I'm ready. So my hair is all wet because I just took a shower, but I realized that I forgot to wrap up the first vlog of the NEWTs. Can we just talk about the fact that I have actually completed one vlog? I actually did it, and I'm gonna put this up, and you are seeing this, which means I put it up. So that means I'm committed. I thought that I would wrap this up for you guys. It's been an adventure both in my life and in the reading world. There's like been a whole lot, so thank you for joining me on that. As far as the NEWTs go, it's the first week and I've already finished 4 books. Granted, there are 12 that I need to read, but I'm like a third of the way there, and I'm almost done with my 5th one. Like, I'm 60%, actually I'm more than that. I'm like 80% of the way done with Harry Potter. Just as like a quick wrap up, the first one that I finished was Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Loved all of it. So great. The second one that I finished was Birthday by Meredith Russo, which I gave 5 stars. Also great. Absolutely loved it. The next one that I finished was Bad Girls Throughout History by Anne Shin. I ended up giving this one 4 stars, but I think I'm going to actually bump that down to 3.5 because, like, while as much fun as it was while reading this book, it wasn't as memorable as I wanted it to be. There is 1 or 2 women in here that are like really sticking out in my head that like I didn't know, but beyond that, there wasn't much memorable beyond this because like the illustrations were really pretty, but like her writing wasn't anything special. It was just like a biography type thing, but in like a condensed form. So I think I'm gonna put this down to 3.5. Still great, still absolutely loved it. Still have a second one by her that I want to read, but I think I got so caught up in how I felt finishing it that I didn't really pay attention to what I really felt. So I think I'm going to bump that one down to 3.5 stars. And then my last read was Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake, the 3rd in the 3 Dark Crowns series, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. So beyond Bad Girls Throughout History, I still stand by all of what I said. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more awesome videos or join this family. I forgot my own outro. thank you for watching. Please let me know down below how you guys are doing on your first week of NEWTs. Have you finished any books? Are you loving any of your books? Let me know. I want to start a conversation. Let's be best friends. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.